This is Bree with the Bee Face, and today we have another Ready to Love review. This is season 7, Miami episode 7, and this is the best friend date episode. Now, this one was chock full of all sorts of things. Like, there just was a lot of content packed in one. So this might be a little longer than the norm. So they start off at the ladies' lounge, and there's only there's 7 ladies left, and for some reason for me, I thought that there were way less. Like, I have just thought, oh my gosh, we're almost there, you know, there's so few people left, but there's 7, and I don't know why I thought there were fewer. Maybe because there's fewer men, but they have done this thing where it's like, oh, we're not gonna eliminate you this week, you have another week to do it, and they've done that on both sides for both the men and the women. So maybe that's why I thought that there were fewer people, because probably at this point there would be fewer people, but I guess that's just what they're doing for this new season. So the first friend date we see is Jamala, and she brings Randall to her friend's house, and you know, they seem to get along well. Randall feels like Jamala is kind of like his best friend, so that's nice, and they're all kissy face with each other, which is sweet. I mean, they're like a real, they seem the most like a real couple other than Mike and Brandy out of the whole cast. Like, it's, I feel like, I almost said rah-rah. I feel like Randall and Jamala might make it to the end if he doesn't, you know, decide to veer and choose Kayla, and then Mike and Brandy if he doesn't veer and decide to choose Kayla. So there's that. Then Kadian had a friend date with Swayze, and are we surprised that that went left? Now, I will say, Ready to Love has had me walking back several of my statements, because what they show in the previews is not what is actually happening. So in this case, it really is editing, because in the previews, it sounded like Swayze was saying he has never dated a black woman, right? And that was odd to me, but in the actual friend date, the friend just asked, in this 3-year period where you were just dating, you weren't dating black women, and he said, no, I wasn't. Now, here's the thing about that. I don't know where Kadian got the, you said you didn't want to date black women, and he's like, I never said that. My daughter's black, I'm black, my mama's black, my sister's black. Like, what are you talking about? This door's open, and I'm mad about it. So the next one is Trenika's friend date with, ooh, that girl had 3. She had LJ come in first, and then Justice and Randall. Now, I think her friends were the most on point out of all these people, right? Like, they hit the nail on the head with all these freaking guys. Like, they said LJ seems like the best fit for her. Justice is BSing. He's been avoiding questions the entire time. And Randall is just here. I mean, he didn't see, he seemed very calm, and he answered questions well. So, I mean, I guess that's what confidence does for you, but I didn't think he, you know, made an impression one way or the other for them. And they did think that LJ was the best fit for her. But Justice, his thing was, he didn't like seeing Trenika's interactions with the other guys. And I will say this again, because I've said it before. Do you guys not know what you're signing up for? The point is that it's a dating show. You're all dating multiple people. And honestly, like, I get that this is a different situation, because in real life, you wouldn't see it play out right in front of your face, right? You might be dating multiple people, but you wouldn't see it, right? You just kind of know it's kind of in the background somewhere. It's like background noise, and you don't see it in your face. But this is like, you know, a little bit of a different story, but you signed up for this, so I don't understand the upset. Yeah, Randall to me seemed a little checked out of that conversation. Like I said, he was just kind of there. We get to Cherise and her friend date with Samson. So Samson wants to be married, and then Cherise is like, I think we're both ready to love. And in my head, I was like, well, the men didn't think you were last week, but you know, I digress. And then Kayla has a friend date with Randall and Mike. That one was kind of all over the place, right? right? Because I guess Mike's issue is that she's been kissing other guys, namely Randall, because he did name Randall. And so he can't really get past that. And Kayla's thing is that he's not showing her that he's interested for real, that he's not, I don't know if she's looking for big grand gestures or anything like that. I don't know what she's looking for, that he's not showing her that he's really interested in her. Or maybe it's just the fact that he has such a strong connection with Brandy and everybody knows it. So I don't know. I don't know what she's actually looking for. Randall then walks in his signature short shorts. And then the friend did notice, she said, Randall's staring at you the whole time. You staring at Mike the whole time. What are you doing? And then she starts crying because she's like, I really like Mike, but I just don't know that it's reciprocated. But then Randall seems like a better guy, right, for her. So who knows what she's gonna end up choosing. But both of these guys do have very strong connections with other women. So she might not be choosing any of them. Then you get to Brandy and her friend date with Samson and Mike. Now she accidentally kisses Samson on the mouth. Girl, you better not tell Mike, because if he was upset about Kayla, oh, he might not hear the word accident. He might just check out because you've been kissing other people and he hasn't kissed anyone yet. And I don't think, you know, who knows? Who knows? Maybe he'll surprise everybody and, you know, maybe he'll be nice about it. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, one thing I noticed about the friend date before Mike showed up. So Samson, you know, was having a conversation with the friend, and I think she asked something along the lines of like, do you find Brandy like attractive, like physically attractive? And Samson was like, of course. And then he asked Brandy directly, he's like, you know that, right? And she said, I've never heard that from you, which is very interesting, that conversation. And of course, he's a life coach, so you expect him to have these really deep, like, what do you actually need from me? Ask for what you need, blah, blah, blah. He seems like the type to understand how that works. What is interesting to me about their connection is that I just don't see it working long term, because it seems like their personalities and what they are looking for in relationships are different. So even just from what Brandy was saying, she likes a lot of reassurance, and she likes to know, you know, without a shadow of a doubt, you know, like, you find me attractive. I like that reassurance, right? And she said it in her confessional. She's like, he's trying to get into your mind and your heart. And so he may not actually verbalize that he finds you attractive. For him, it might just be a given, right? It might just be like, well, I wouldn't be with you if I didn't find you attractive. Why do you even say it all the time, right? Not in that type of rude way, but you know, just it's a given. And so it's very interesting because they don't seem to kind of line up with what they're really looking for out of their partners. I think personally that Samson needs someone a little older, who's a little more mature, who's not so caught up with the appearance of it. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I just see Samson as needing someone who is just a little older, you know? And I'm not saying Brandy's immature or anything like that. I just see personally Samson being with someone Cherise's age, because it seems like they are more compatible than Brandy is with Samson. And even Samson was like, Mike and Brandy are kind of a thing. We all kind of know that. So then Looney has a friend date with Justice and LJ. And LJ comes in and he's like, you know, I be calling you, you don't be picking up, you don't be calling back, blah, blah, blah. And Looney's like, well, I'm not a phone person. And that irks me, because when people say that, I just immediately think BS. Because one, if you are not a phone person, then that means to me, you are finding other ways to be intentional about getting to know this person you are interested in. And it seems like you are just dodging this person's calls because you don't really want to talk to him like that. And that's fine, but don't cover it under I'm not a phone person. Okay, well then try and see me in person. And also, how would you know that you can see me in person if you didn't text me and say, hey, do you want to hang out? Do you want to go grab a quick bite? Do you want to take a walk? We live in the same city. I don't buy it. Girl, you're not interested in this man. Let's just leave it at that. Justice hits it off with Looney's friend. So, you know, I guess it's true. You win some, you lose some, right? Because Trinika's friends were like straight joker, and Looney's friend was like, oh, perfect for you. Amazing. So, you know, what's for the goose ain't for the gander. It's just as simple as that. So one thing I was surprised about is that we got to all of these friend dates. I feel like normally in these seasons, we miss a couple people, right? That there's someone doing something, someone's busy, all of that stuff. So I'm surprised we got to every single person being on a friend date. So then we got to Deliberation. And I was curious about the interracial dating topic that came up. Because Looney said, well, because Swayze said that, I am not interested. And she was like, well, it's more than that. But that, you know, that kind of struck a nerve. My thing about that is, I don't know if I would care if I was talking to a man and he said, you know, for the past 3 years, I've been single. During that time, I've been kind of on apps and really just dating around. And I haven't said, oh, I will not date a black woman during this time, but I haven't. I don't know that I would care about that. Just because in the past couple of years, or the past few years of you not being in a committed relationship, you haven't been dating black women, but you're now on a dating show where it's just black women. I guess I don't understand, like, what's the problem? He has not said, I will never date a black woman again. I'm not interested in black women. I think black women are blah, 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 blah. Anything like that. And we haven't really even heard his side of it. It's just the interrogation that Katie and her tribe come with. It's just that type of energy. And Katie had the nerve to be upset that that man walked out. Like, you had your friend coming at this man for seemingly never having dated a black woman or not being interested in dating a black woman. And that man has never said that in the time that I have seen him on screen. Now, whether he has said that in other spaces, who knows? But I'll tell you one thing, I cannot wait for this reunion because you know that's gonna come up, and I am sure Swayze is gonna have a problem with it. And I do not think that Swayze and Katie are gonna bounce back from that. I think that is something where it's like, don't start with me. Like, that's not true. And you're forming a narrative that I don't agree with and all of that stuff. I cannot wait because I am sure there's going to be a blow up at the reunion. But I guess we'll see. We'll see if he has, you know, an opportunity to, you know, redeem himself or explain, you know, any of that stuff. If he even wants to or feels the need to. I think in particular Looney was just fabricating a reason. Girl, you don't like the man, and that's that. You don't have to fake a reason. It is what it is. If you don't like him, you don't like him. But yeah, I just don't feel like that's even a valid thing. Like, even if the last person he was in a relationship wasn't black, why y'all care so much? I just don't understand. And of course, interracial dating is a bigger topic than just the fact that someone's non-black. I think it's a lot more nuanced than that. And I think there's a lot to measure about a person other than the fact that they haven't dated a black person in a couple of years. So LJ and Justice are in the bottom. LJ already knows what time it is, but he gets to stay and Justice is gone, and he didn't act a fool, which, you know, all these other people, I mean, you say what you want about Justice, and I have, but at the very least, he didn't come out of a bag on somebody, like just delivering what is the premise of the show, right? And neither did LJ. LJ was like, let's just do it. Just rip the Band-Aid off. Just tell me, am I staying or am I going? I personally think either LJ or Swayze are going to be the next to go. I feel like they're the only ones who have maybe like one connection. So Swayze, I haven't seen him connect with anyone else except maybe Kayla, and I don't think Kayla is really interested in him like that. And then LJ was connecting with Looney and Trenika, but Looney really doesn't seem like she's interested at all, especially with that phone thing. She really doesn't seem like she's in this connection for real. So I think personally, LJ and Swayze might be on the chopping block next. So then we get to the previews. So the previews for the next episode, it seems like another friend date, or maybe it's an ex date, because they showed LJ and his ex, but they didn't show anyone else's like person that they came with. Tommy said in the men's lounge, bring someone whose opinion you trust, and I don't know why LJ thought to bring his ex unless it was an ex date. So yeah, so there's that. LJ slept with his ex a month ago, and I'm with you, Trenika. That was 2 days ago. What are you talking about? So yeah, I don't know. So for some reason, you know, the tables have turned, and now Mike has invited both Kayla and Brandy to a date, and Brandy was saying how, you know, Mike has said he was trying to snatch her up and all of that stuff, and Kayla heard something that she didn't like, and she up and left. And yeah, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means for her, because in terms of the ladies, I would say the people with the least solid connections, because Cherise has Samson. So I don't know if she's going to be eliminated again. I feel like if she does get eliminated, Samson might try to go all the way with Brandy, or he might just self-eliminate and be like, I'm very interested in furthering this connection outside of this. And then there's Trenika, who has connections, but I just don't see her and LJ for real. It just doesn't seem like that's going anywhere. But she also has Randall, so who knows? Randall might save her. And then Kayla is in between Mike and Randall, and those are the only connections aside from Swayze, which I don't know if is a real thing anymore. But I just don't see her, like if Mike and Randall choose their top connections, I don't think she has another connection unless she really just says, Swayze, let's see what's popping. So I don't know who might be going next week. So I guess that'll be interesting to see. And then Katie and Cherise get into it. And, you know, with that, I'm not surprised. And I can only imagine that there was just maybe just one comment or one thought that they decided not to keep to themselves and caused this whole big blow up that didn't need to happen probably by any means. And, you know, I am more of a fan of Cherise than I am of Kadian, and that's saying something because I'm not a fan of Cherise's, but just Kadian seems like she starts stuff for no reason. Like she just be inserting herself in things that nobody asked for or wanted to hear from her. I don't understand why she feels the need to say everything that pops into her head in exactly the way that it shows up there. So I don't know. It is what it is. So, moral of the story, let's do Jeremiah 29:11. Word to justice, right? I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. When he said that though, I did think, you know, the Bible also says, write the vision and make it plain that he may run who reads it, right? Because God will direct your steps, but sometimes you do have to step. And that's discernment. That is it for this review. I will see you guys in my next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.